Hey everyone, I think I'm live. I'm just going to check in now to make sure that I am here. Give me a minute because, technology is not always my friend. If you are here, check in with me. Send me a message. Let me know if you are here with me. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, do let me know if you are here and we will get started. Because I don't see anyone. And for some reason, I'm not showing up. All right. So today we're going to talk about why boundaries aren't your real problem. Yes? Okay. So have you ever had this happen? Let me ask you. You get a message from someone on your phone. Hey, can you do me a quick favor? And before you've even properly read the rest of the message, you already know. You don't want to do it. You don't have the time. You don't have the energy. And you actually really have other things that you need to do. And for just that 1 second, you know the answer is no. And then the thoughts begin. It's not really that big a deal. They probably wouldn't ask if they didn't really need me. I can try to fit it in. Really, I don't want to be difficult. And then you type the response. Sure, no problem. And the second you send it, you feel that little sinking feeling. You know the one. That moment where you think, why did I just say yes? That's what I want to talk about today. Because I don't think most women have a boundary problem. I think they have a self-abandonment pattern. And those two are very different things. I want you to just stop and think about that for a minute. I want to check to make sure that I'm actually live because I can't see myself. Go figure. So, yes, I think most women have a self-abandonment problem. And as I said before, those two very different things. Because if you are someone who struggles with boundaries, you probably have already done a lot of the usual things. You've read the books. You've listened to the podcasts. You've learned the scripts. You know you're allowed to say no. You know you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You know you can say, that doesn't work for me. I won't be able to do that. I need some time to think about it. You know the words. Most women I speak with know the words they have to say. They could probably teach someone else how to set a boundary. And yet, they still find themselves saying yes when they mean no. So the question becomes, why? Let's look at an ordinary example. Imagine you've had a long day at work, you've been dealing with people all day, you've got things waiting for you at home, or people waiting for you at home. Maybe you haven't even had a proper moment to yourself, and you finally sit down. You make a cup of tea. Maybe you're about to watch something. Maybe you're just sitting in silence, which is, in most cases, a bit of a luxury. And then your phone rings. It's your sister, your friend, your mother. And before you even answer, you think, oh, I don't really have the energy for this. That's the truth. You know it. Your body knows it. And then you answer the phone and the conversation starts. Can I just ask you something? And there it is. That tiny moment. You already know the answer is no. And then you think, she needs me. She's had a difficult week. I don't want to make this a thing. It's only this time. And you're saying, of course, I'll do it. And then you hang up. And you're annoyed with yourself. Maybe you're even angry with her. But if you really look at what happened, the story didn't begin with her asking. The story began with you knowing the answer. And then talking yourself out of it. That is the moment I'm interested in, because that moment happens all day long. It might happen when your boss asks you to stay late. You know you don't have the capacity. You know you have plans. You know you've already been doing more than your share. And then you think, if I say no, they'll think I'm not committed. So you say, sure, I can stay. It might happen with your adult children. They call because they need something. And maybe you genuinely love helping them. That's not the problem. The problem is that sometimes you are exhausted. You have your own plans. You don't want to do what they're asking. Before you can even allow yourself to consider the answer, you think, excuse me, I'm their mother. Of course I should help them. They need me. So you say yes. And then later you're irritated. You're thinking, nobody ever considers what I need. But did you consider what you needed? Let me know in the comments how that hits. When was the last time that you considered what you needed before you responded to someone else's request? That question can be extremely uncomfortable. I don't mean it as a criticism, because most of us have been doing this for years. We have become so quick to consider everyone else's needs that we don't even realize that we've left our own out of the conversation. Here's another example. Your partner asks you, what do you want to do this weekend? And you say, I don't mind. Whatever you want. I'm fine with what you decide. And maybe you generally don't mind. And maybe if you're honest, you do have an opinion. You would like to do something specific. You just don't want to be the one who has to decide. or you don't want to disappoint them if they're eager to do something else. Or perhaps you don't want to create a disagreement. So in keeping that in mind, you say, I don't mind. And after a while, you start to feel like nobody ever asks what you want anymore. And sometimes that is the truth. Because sometimes you stopped asking. Pardon me. You stopped answering the question with what you really wanted to do. So your partner stopped asking. And when you answer, what do you want? Oh, I don't know. But you do know. What do you need? Oh, I'm fine. But you really aren't fine. What do you think about? Whatever you think is fine with me. But it's not fine with you. And then one day you wake up and realize, I don't actually know what I want anymore. This is what I mean when I talk about self-abandonment. It's not necessarily some huge dramatic event. You don't wake up one morning and decide, today I will completely lose myself. No. It happens in the tiny moments. Hi, Aline, I see you. Yes. It happens in the tiny moments. You want to say no, but you say yes. You want to rest, or you need to rest, but you keep going. Because perhaps other people are telling you that you don't deserve the rest, even though you know you do. Those words come at you in a different way. You want to speak honestly, but you're afraid to do so because you also want to keep the peace. You need help, and you want help with what you need to do with your tasks, but yet you tell everyone that you're fine. You want to do something specific for yourself, or perhaps you just want to sit and have a cup of tea quietly. But you feel the pressure that perhaps someone else needs you more. And each individual moment seems so small. It's just one favor. It's just tonight. It's just a quick conversation. It's not a big deal. But those moments add up. And eventually you become very disconnected from yourself. Not because you don't have an opinion, not because you don't have needs, and it's certainly not because you don't know what you want. It's because you've become so practiced at ignoring yourself, overriding your own needs, that you don't even notice that you're doing it anymore. And this is why I don't think the answer is simply learning another boundary script. Because the script comes after the moment I'm talking about. By the time you're saying, I appreciate you thinking of me, but I don't have the capacity right now, you've already had to get past all the reasons you shouldn't say no. And many women know that that's the real work. It's not finding the perfect words. It's learning to stay present with yourself long enough to hear what you actually want. And this is where I want to say something extremely important. This doesn't mean that you have to say no to everything. It doesn't mean that every feeling of resistance means you should refuse. Sometimes you choose to help, but it's your choice. Sometimes you will decide something matters more to you than your time and energy. That's completely different. The difference is that you are choosing. You're making that choice. You're not automatically overriding yourself before you even give yourself the chance to have an opinion. Because there is a big difference between, I really don't want to do this, but I choose to because it matters to me. And I don't want to do this, but I feel as if I'm not allowed to say no. They're not the same. So here's what I want you to try this week. Don't try to change everything. Don't suddenly start saying no to everybody, because I know you won't be able to. Don't make a dramatic announcement that you're setting boundaries now. Just start noticing. The next time someone asks for something, pause. Before you think about your reaction, before you decide whether you'll disappoint them, before you start explaining why you should probably say yes, ask yourself, what is my honest answer? It's a 90-second pause. That's it. You don't even have to say it out loud. You don't have to act on it immediately. Just notice. Maybe the answer is no. Maybe the answer is, I don't know yet. And maybe it's yes, but not in the way they're asking. Maybe it's, I actually do want to help. The point is to hear yourself before you automatically override yourself. Because that tiny moment is where your relationship with yourself begins to change. And if you have been doing this for years, please don't beat yourself up when you notice how often it happens. Awareness is not another reason to criticize yourself. It's information. You're simply beginning to see a pattern that has probably been running quietly in the background for a very long time. Once you see it, you then have a choice. You can pause. You can actually ask yourself, what do you think? Give yourself time. You can say, let me get back to you. You can stop making an immediate decision while you're still trying to manage everyone else's feelings. Because maybe the reason you keep struggling with boundaries isn't that you don't know how to communicate. Maybe it's that you've been leaving yourself before you even get to the conversation. And that is a very different problem. But it's also a problem that you can begin to change. One pause, one honest answer, one small choice at a time. I'm just going to quickly pause and check. Oh, honest answer. Yes, the pause. Yes. Take a moment to really just pause, because that is where you can think versus being flustered. Sometimes someone will ask you if you have time. I don't know about you, but I don't have my calendar on hand all the time. So I need to get back to you. That is important for all of us to remember. Yes, awareness is huge. We are able to do so much. Aline, I totally get it. Now, if this resonated with you, I'd love to know in the comments. Have you ever caught yourself knowing the answer was no, and then hearing yourself say yes anyways? Because that moment is where the real conversations begin. That moment is the pause where you start to notice. Thank you, Aline. I really appreciate your support, and I am going to try to keep this up on a weekly basis. I'm not very regular, I know. I do appreciate everyone's support, and I'll be digging a little bit more into this topic in my posts this coming week. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for showing up live and on the replay. Take care.